world. This is William Hill, forward deployed engineer here with Render ATL. We're back for another in our series of chats with our esteemed Render ATL speakers. Today we have Francesco Ciulla. And I'm trying to make sure I can pronounce it correctly here with us today. How are you, Francesco? Francesco, excuse me.
It was perfect. Thank you so much. Busy Monday, I would say, but I needed something to get this week right. So, is there anything better than doing a Render ATL live stream? I don't think so.
Hey, well, we are extremely appreciative of you joining us today. For those who are not familiar with Francesco, again, incredible guy, like a super interesting background of different things he's done. So a little bit about him. Francesco Ciulla is the head of DevRel engineer at ZeroOps. He is a computer scientist from Rome, and from 2017 to 2021, he was a full stack developer at the European Space Agency on the Copernicus project. He is a Docker captain, the author of PAC's Rust Programming Handbook. He teaches Rust and Docker and web development to more than 340 YouTube subscribers. So again, an incredible, like super interesting background that I hope we get to learn a little bit more about. Again, we're excited to have you at Render yet again this year, a repeat speaker. So we're glad that you're joining us again. So yeah, thank you for taking the time.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much. This was a super great introduction, and I can't wait. I can't wait, to be honest. I'm counting down the days, not because the 11th of August is my birthday, but because I will take the plane for Render. So I'll take the plane the day of my birthday because I want to get in time for you will tell what will happen on the 11th of August, I think.
Look, so for those of you out there in the audience, find Francesco, like, it's going to be his birthday during Render. We must show him a good time. He's traveled a long way to be with us. He's going to share like a lot of his knowledge, but we also must show him a good time. What a better way to spend your birthday week than at Render. So again, I want to jump into a little bit about your background. So as we mentioned in the intro, in the bio, that you spent 4 years at the European Space Agency working on the Copernicus project. But then you left and started making developer content at one point full time, correct?
Yes. I've been working full time, and I would say also with a normal, the classic 9-to-5 job, because it might sound exciting from the outside. You work with satellites, night, cool stuff. By the way, I didn't go in space. I was here just creating just software, I would say. So I'm not an astronaut. Just I want to clarify. I want to stay humble. But yes, I had that classic 9-to-5 job, 1 hour of commute to go, 1 hour to come back. What really changed my life? There were 2 things. One is that I started posting on Twitter, and the second one was COVID. So when I started working from home, I decided to double down on social media stuff. I started my YouTube channel. In 4 days, it will be 6 years since my first video on YouTube. So I will also celebrate this anniversary. And this basically changed my life. So starting YouTube, the Twitter experience, but also I'm a huge fan of in-person events. It's not a coincidence that I'm here doing a live stream about such cool conference as Render ATL, because I honestly think, and I will die on this hill, that going to in-person events can really boost your career, especially in this AI era.
Man, what a great checks in the mail for like promoting Render right there. That's just a great, again, great career advice. And again, that's what we hope that Render can provide to people. So one of the things that, again, I struggle with this myself as far as just putting myself out there, as far as like putting out technical content and stuff like that. So you tell people to just post it, just do it. So for an engineer that's thinking about like self-promotion, what has building in public actually returns to you that your 9-to-5 that you were doing didn't?
This is a great question. I think that the general tip is that usually the developers, they have great skills, great hard skills, and poor communication skills. This is generic, of course. I'm taking the classic, the introverted developers with a black hoodie stereotype. But from my experience, this is also true. We have so many people with great skills, but they don't know how to put them out. I know great developers, and then I go on their social media profiles, and they are empty. And if I know you are a great developer. But if I don't know, if I am a random recruiter and I go your profile, I see nothing. I know that you are looking for a job as a JavaScript developer, I go on your GitHub profile and I don't see any new projects. I see your activity which is a bit empty. So it is a shame. And so this is why I think that we should definitely work on this. I am a huge fan of a sustainable strategy. I don't even want to call it strategy. I think on social media they are a way to amplify what we do. When I go to conferences, you see me taking selfies at render. When I am at home, you will see pictures of my setup. So this is what allowed me to keep doing this, because I think that some people, they think social media is like, another job, but it should not be. It should be just, sharing what we want to connect with like-minded people. When in 2020, I decided to follow all developers, I understood that I joined like tech Twitter. I didn't. AI can build an application with one prompt, maybe, but this doesn't replace the human connection.
That's really, really valuable insight. And one thing I even want to kind of dig into a little bit deeper is you talked about it's going to be around 6 years since you said you posted your first video. Yeah, again, great. It actually leads into my next question, because you have run a developer podcast for years and you have interviewed a ton of people all around the industry. So is there some type of common theme or something that you've heard
from our previous jobs in tech? For example, working in sport, I was a coach. So, for example, I like, in-person events, to have fun with people, to, communicate the energy on stage. It feels me like, it looks like feeling a coach again. So it's very interesting to me that, at the end, it's like the circle that closes. So while I'm preparing dinner, of course, I'm Italian, so I prepare my dinner. So while I'm preparing dinner, and this because it's easy. So that's, but this is, sometimes I also fall into this, say like, okay, like this is, the most convenient way. And so this is probably something that we should be very careful about.
That's a great point. And I think kind of follow-up question with that is, I'm a developer as well, so I've kind of had that same type of thing. But one of the ways I almost kind of look at it is that it almost frees me up to think at a higher level. When now, like I said, the cost of code in a way is kind of cheap, right? Where the agents can do it. So now it's like architecture, the system design, all those different types of things. So have you started to spend more time doing that, which I know you already were doing, spending time on that, but have you started to now like, all right, I'm going to abstract more away?
What do you mean? Like when I code, when I create some applications? Sorry.
Yeah, because as we started talking about, everybody was talking about vibe coding, right? So now we're, trying to get out of the vibe coding and bringing more engineering process back to like using these AI agents. So, judging from like your previous thing, and I totally agree that like, yeah, it's sometimes, like they said, the cost of code has gotten so small that now we tend to, like I said, get a little bit lazy, let our brain get lazy. But now I started to look at it like we can think actually at a higher level beyond just like the syntactical implementation of the code. We think about the application as a whole and how it designs and fits into other things.
Yeah, I think that this is the direction. So I think that the earlier we accept this, the better. We can't decide that no, we can't be in that denial phase, things like this is not happening. Like I can just be at my home, coding just by hand. This can be nice if you have if you don't need a job, if you want to use this as a hobby, it can also be fine. But we are talking about professionals. So if you want to be a professional in this era, you want to last 20, 30 more years in this career, we should accept this as early as possible, I would say, and learn the tools as early as possible. And I mean, the important part is that we should not stop the process just because we have these powerful tools. This is probably something that we need to work on. And we need to be very intentional on what we want to build, how we want to build the things. I mean, you remember when people said like, okay, I don't have time to write tests. What's your excuse now? Like, what's your excuse now? Or, other things, I don't know. I don't have time to make my application accessible. What's your excuse now? Like, right. It's literally probably one prompt away. So it's very important to understand this. Now, maybe there are less people, or maybe they even know what making an accessible application means, what an unit test is. And this makes me scared. I think I met a couple of people who didn't even knew like the basics of Git, for example.
Yeah.
So we should really understand. I know I sound like a grandpa now, but I think it's very important to understand these things. And now that coding is so easy, we should spend the time understanding the basics and then build whatever we want, but with intentions. Because yes, AI can build a lot of things. It's great, but we should still understand and having the human in the loop, because this is what will make the difference between, because if you think like we have the same models, let's say, and we have two developers and one of them, they know how to create an application, they will make a 110 times better job than someone who doesn't know how to code and just say, build me a billionaire app. And this is it's very important. It's weird that now we are here talking about this. I never thought that I would be here. So it's like, hey, you should understand this, because, before AI, the process was more linear. I was one of the people where like to suggest, learn a single framework, learn a single stack, learn the process, and then you do. Now you probably can build a full stack application even without understanding what an API is. And this is super scary because yes, you can, but then what? Then what will happen when you will have to scale an application? And then when you don't even know, what an AWS bill is. I'm scared.
Understandable, man. And again, like I said, that barrier of entry is lowered, but yes, those fundamentals absolutely still matter, which kind of leads me into the next question. And it also could hopefully let you plug yourself a little bit as well. Is that we mentioned that you just published a book, correct, on Rust. So again, we've talked about how AI agents are so, we can say, good at generating code and all these type of things now. But like, what's the value in still having, in publishing a book and putting that out there to people? I know you kind of alluded to it, but would love to even just speak to that.
Yes, thank you. I think it's very hard times for teachers, and this makes me sad because both of my parents are teachers. I've been teaching for my whole life. It's also one of the reasons why I got into content creation. For me, creating content in 2010-20, it meant to create a technical tutorial. By the way, I just published a technical tutorial also today, so we are not done yet. And so I think that building, what was about? Sorry, can you repeat the question?
Yeah, so it was about your book that you just published. So
the book,
like,
yes. Right. Yeah. Okay, got it. I was lost train of thoughts.
Okay.
So I decided to write this book. I think it was April 2024, and I published the book in December 2025. It's going surprisingly very well. I sold more than 1,000 copies already. You know what is super curious? Most of the copies sold are physical. So I have more physical copies sold than online one, which of course is also cheaper. So it means that some people, they still want a physical copy, and it surprises me. I think that nowadays in this era we should learn from everywhere. You should learn from YouTube. I have a full free playlist. We should learn from YouTube. You can learn from a talk. You can learn using AI. You can learn using a book. By the way, to write this book, I read 4 basic Rust books. I've been creating content since 2022 about Rust almost every day. So probably I have some experience and I can create something that which is basically a basic one. So it's basically just to get started and get some fundamentals, because this will make the difference. It's the difference between and then we'll have the two same people who create, in this case, it can be a Rust application, but it can be with any framework. So if you have the same, I will not make the example with my book about just, let's say we have the same exact developer, but if you read one more TypeScript book, you have more knowledge. Now we should really be in this way. So you have just one more thing that it's just having more knowledge that might be useful in this process. And I decided to also to write a book about Rust because, first of all, I like it, and also because it can help people, because it can have something that can be not that easy to learn. So I try to make the concepts as simple as possible. There are also some Italian references, some coffee jokes, and some stuff. But I made it, in my way. So using my style. So it's my unique style, and I think that there is still value. So it's just that probably they will have a difference. It's the same. It's the same of saying, like, I can say the same. Like, why should you go to an in-person conference if you can just watch something online? But this is a different thing. It's a different value. And why? And who is stopping you from doing both? We are doing a live event, and now we'll also be a render. So we should be more in this flow of doing everything that can be needed for our career. So doing this live event on YouTube today doesn't stop us from also doing an in-person event, which can also be, of course, super fun. So I would say that it still makes sense. So, yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree. Like, again, there's still value. Some people, again, just like the feel of a book in their hands, right? So again, I think there's still tremendous value in learning, like you said, in those different tactile ways. And you even alluded to something as well, is even with your now head of DevRel at Zero Ops, like, because again, you talked about, yes, we can just go and ask these agents these different things. So how have you seen like any type of changes or effect in how the DevRel works now, given the advent of AI agents?
Yeah, I mean, yes, but I mean, we still have engineers around, and I think especially in DevRel, I want to talk something cool about DevRels. Yes, you can ask an agent to create a plan, but then you have to execute it. Then you have to reach out to real people. So good luck in reaching out big creators, maybe with an AI generated message. I'm sure that they will. I'm sure Traversi Media will love your AI generated with out of context email, because this makes a difference. Because especially big creators, DevRel is all about trust. So you probably AI is the opposite sometimes of trust. So sometimes we trust it just a bit when it's in a sandbox, but we trust the humans more because they have our experience. They put our face, our human face, so not AI replaceable, not the model face. And this might make a difference in the final outcome. And this is why we built a whole team at Zero Ops, because this is what, and I know many people. I think I see even more DevRels now than in 2025. I am connected with so many developer advocates that I have a feeling and a vibe of how DevRel is going. If many of my friends they are getting laid off, said okay, DevRel is getting a bit less trendy. Lately, I've seen many of my friends getting a DevRel job again, and I also hired the 3 of them at Zero Ops. So this is a sign. And I think that yes, we still humans, especially in DevRel, when a human connection, I think it can really make a difference.
Absolutely. So we mentioned that your birthday's coming up. You're excited coming back to Atlanta. You spoke at Render 2025. So and apparently we made a good enough impression that you're coming back across the Atlantic to join us again. So what is it that you enjoyed about the experience of speaking last year? Was it something about the crowd, just the overall energy? So can you speak a little bit about that experience?
Yeah, sure. So, I came, I don't know if you know this, but I came the first time at Render Retail in 2023. I came as an attendee. I covered my expenses as travel here all my way from Italy because I heard good things about the conference and I had a bit of FOMO in 2022. So in 2023, I decided to just come, straight from Italy, from Rome, as an attendee. I also bought the ticket and stuff. And I was already a speaker. But I decided to come because, I heard, because of the reputation. So I heard cool things. And then I met many people. I met Brian, I met Justin, and many people. And and the next year I was speaking at Render. So, this Italian guy made it. So it has been invited also back as a speaker. And this was 2024, also 2025. So this is my third, time, that I'm speaking at Render. Render's energy really feels different. If you'll come, you will see. It's hard to. You are asking me something hard, Will, which is to explain the energy of the rooftop experience in a YouTube live event. This is probably the hardest question I ever had in a live event. But you can trust me. You can trust me. Maybe you've seen some pictures. Maybe you've seen some videos. I think it can really make the difference. There's also a concert usually at the end. Mm-hmm. The energy there it's amazing. It's like the I don't know, the quality of the connection. I try to the energy of the crowd when I'm delivering my talk. It's rare to match, I would say. And I've been to so many conferences that cannot probably be a conference TikToker influencer. I could be, I'm not, but I went to so many. When a person goes to many restaurants, they become a restaurant influencer. Mm-hmm. I can be almost a conference influencer. I can do this almost as a job. I will not do this because I like them all, but for sure I can say that Render is probably a conference that I don't want to miss at any cost every year, because I can't wait, to be honest. You are just 8 days away. I really can't wait to come hang out with people. And I think that something that because I'm used to come to the US, but especially at Render, it's so easy to start a conversation. Even for introverted people, even for non-native speakers, even for people who are not that used to talk that much. Render creates energy and a really safe space to talk about tech, to talk about your frameworks, to talk about jobs and careers. You will feel very welcomed if you come to Render.
That is a better advertisement than I ever could have done. So again, we are absolutely overjoyed to have you to come back and speak. And on that note, again, I've never got a chance to tour around with Rust. So like that's something I would love to learn about and stuff. So I'm speaking at the conference, so I'm really hoping that my talk is at the same time yours. I would love to attend your talk, learn more about Rust. So can you give us a little preview of what your talk is going to be about? You don't have to give away everything, but just to give us a little teaser.
No, it's just a teaser. So I think that Rust is becoming more and more interesting. I also started getting curious about Rust in 2022. And 4 years later, I think that it's almost, let's say, too mainstream. I got one person who say, like, Francesco, why do you talk about a so mainstream language? So this was curious for me, because when I started creating content about Rust, 2022 was not that mainstream. So it's curious to see real adoption. It's the difference between being just a niche, cool language and being a real language. By the way, I will also be at the Rust Conf in Montreal in Canada, which is a big Rust conference, and I will bring a talk there about the Rust community itself. So I will say the topic of the talk is, can Rust be used for real in web development? And for real, you know what I mean. For real, it means that you have a SaaS with paid users, which is the difference from doing the Saturday night because you don't want to go or hanging out with your friends and getting wasted, and you stay at home and you create a project. You see there is a difference between these two things. So the Saturday night alone at home side project, you can do this in any language you want. Nobody can stop you. But having this in real production applications, it's a difference. And I see many companies, that are adopting this for real. And this is important for me. And now, for example, now with AI, it's easier to create applications in any languages we want. And I have to be completely honest, they are objectively more performant than many other frameworks. So I will not say everything about this, but let's say that it's probably time to talk about Rust and web development for real. I remember me talking about Rust and web development in 2022 and people mocking me like if I was crazy. Is just say this, that basically in 2022, nobody liked me because Rust people said like, no, we will not use Rust for web development. So they were like too noble. The web developers said like, Rust can't be used for web development. So I was hated by everyone, both from the Rust, real Rust pure developers and web developers. And now I'm trying to being a diplomat and talking to most of them, and I see people mocking me less. So this means that it's probably becoming more interesting.
You were just ahead of the curve. People think it's crazy until it works, right? So you were just ahead of the curve. So again, I would personally love to attend the talk, because that would be again something I've never gotten a chance to play around with Rust, but sounds super, super interesting. So Francesco, again, thank you so much for joining us for this live stream. This has been amazing. I got to learn some stuff along the way, got some valuable insights. So again, Render's coming up August 12th and 13th, but leading up to the conference and after the conference, where can people find you? So where can people find you? Where can they hear your previous talks or interviews? So yeah, where can people find you?
Yeah, sure. So I don't have that much fantasy, so you can just find me at Francesco Ciulla. So my name and surname, it's easy. I'm sorry, I don't have a fancy nickname on the internet. It is what it is. I'm also lucky enough that when I decided to buy the domain francescociulla.com, it was still available. So I'm also super happy. I think you will find me because I'm quite annoying, Will. So you will find me somewhere on the internet. And thank you so much for tuning in. I would like to say to everyone who also come to conferences to try to reach out. No worries, so we can have a conversation. I go to conferences to get conversations, and since all this AI explosion happened, I've seen more people asking me to have a 5 minutes conversation if they can talk 1-2 more minutes. So this is very important. So don't. I just received many DMs and stuff, but I'm sure I try to connect with everyone. And yeah. If you want to have some Rust stuff, you will probably check my YouTube channel. And that's it, Will. I really enjoyed this conversation. I hope you will be at Render, for sure.
I will. Like I said, I'll be speaking at Render as well, so we'll definitely love to connect with you while there.
Perfect. We need to remember to take a selfie. Otherwise, I will be absolutely, let's say, upset about this.
Look, we can't upset you on your birthday week. We absolutely can't do that. So, yeah, we'll definitely make that happen. Before we get ready to close out today, for the audience, we actually want to do a little giveaway. So we're actually giving away some tickets to Render. So we have a little pop quiz for those in the audience. We're actually having 6 different summits within Render this year. So we're almost having like conference inception. We're having conferences inside of conferences. So for those of you who are, can guess, we're going to say, if you can put 2 of the summits that'll be happening inside of Render this year in the chat, we're giving away 3 tickets. So those of you who can put 2 in the comments, first come, first serve, we're giving away some tickets.
Okay, so again, interesting.
6 summits.
Interesting.
If you just name 2.
By the way, and maybe this can also record, so maybe this also counts if you leave a comment maybe after this.
Yes.
So just if you are watching this live stream, you still have a chance maybe. And so what should they do? What should they post below?
So we need you to comment 2, only 2. There's 6 summits. We'll accept it. If you can name 2 of the summits.
Okay. Nice. We will see, but I've seen the Render conference really expanding. And it's a honor for me when I go to a conference for many years in a row, and you're like that old uncle, and you see your nephews like growing. So like, they grow so fast. And this is my feeling also with many conferences, including Render. And I've seen many people coming, big talks on the main stage. Calzina Tower came there. Many other big speakers, I would say. So I've seen the energy. I've seen more people on the rooftop, more people at the parties. So this is really, it's great. And for sure, if you're a conference organizer, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I will also probably come and bring the camera and microphone and stuff, because I want to record some cool stuff. So yes, Will. I think it will be again a great conference, and always good expectations. I don't know if you can, every year, match my expectations, because it's hard, when I've been to a cool party, then you want that party to be even cooler.
For sure. Like you got to keep upping the bar, right? And that's exactly what we tend to do with Render. So again,
we get spoiled, Will.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You get spoiled, but that just means that's just more incentive for us look, you're coming a long way. We cannot have you come over here and not enjoy yourself. So we will continue to up the bar. And part of that is having esteemed speakers like yourself coming and sharing your knowledge. So I think that's one of the great things is that we have, again, obviously you can come here and learn stuff, but you can also come and really have a great time. So
Yes.
again, Francesco, thank you for your time. Again, everyone, Render, it's coming up fast, August 12th and 13th. So we hope to see y'all there. So thank you all for joining us, and we'll see y'all soon. Peace.
Thank you so much. Ciao.